Elevate, elevate. What's up? Here I am coming to you from, I don't know, like the bright light, the huge bright light behind me. I'm upstairs in the soon to be Area 45 room. Um, but anyway, good to see all of you, or good for all of you to see me on this video. Look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. First of all, thank you for your patience and your willingness to kind of adjust to some changes that have come down the pipeline this past weekend. Um, we will be making some adjustments. Definitely heard some of the constructive criticism regarding us being in the auditorium and with the sound factor and some other issues. And so we will be addressing those, and you'll hear kind of how we've broken down the way to work with that this coming weekend. The only thing I'll say at this point is that, our goal is to create as uniform experience amongst our kids, as well as a uniform experience amongst those who are serving and small group leaders. And so, what we want to do is create a rotation, so that people will be able to do their small groups in a classroom, as well as or basically, so everyone will get the opportunity to do their small groups in the classroom. Since we have limited numbers of classrooms, we will be creating a rotation, and so you'll hear me talk more about that in the coming days. I'll probably just send you a copy of the rotation. But anyway, this weekend is Kid Highlight Weekend. It is finally here. We're putting together the details or finishing up the final touches on the details this today and tomorrow, and so we're really excited. Kids are going to be doing everything. They be coming out of the woodworks. I told the kids this weekend in Elevate that Kid Takeover Weekend was a weekend where the kids get to lock all the adults in a room and do whatever they want to do, and they just love the idea of that. But whatever. Anyway, so this particular weekend, things are going to be a little bit different logistically. As a small group leader, I ask that you kind of just avail yourself. What's going to happen is the kids are going to be checking in, and kids who are a part of worship, be it greeting, working in the parking lot, doing offerings, singing or dancing, those kids will be in their respective places. So some of them will be in the auditorium, some of them will be in the parking lot, some will be at guest services. The kids who will not be participating will be coming into the zone. They're actually going to be combining the Ridge Kids 2 staff is going to work together to bring them together. The kids who are not specifically doing anything per se, and then they will be taken into the auditorium. They're going to be seated in section E. If you know anything about the seating arrangement in the auditorium downstairs, it's off to the far right. And so it's really easy for us to get them in through a door right over near section E and get them right back out, and then come up the steps and come right into the Elevate Theater once everything is done. Kids are going to be leaving the auditorium basically during or right after offering. So everything that Kid Highlight related is going to happen from the beginning of worship at the 16-minute mark, and it'll take us to a little bit past offering, right past offering, okay? And so we still need you to help us do a couple things. There will be kids who will be needed to be taken down in waves. So as the doors open at 5 o'clock and at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, kids will be coming in, okay? At that point, at about 5:20-ish, and 9:20-ish, and 11:20-ish, we're going to take down a wave of kids. Now, for kids who come late, which we know some of our kids do, we will be doing a kind of second wave to get those kids downstairs. After that, any kids that come after that point will just basically have to wait up here until we return. Just be a little bit too much going back and forth to just keep coming and bringing kids. Plus, we don't want them to wind up going down there just for a few minutes to get up and walk back upstairs. Okay, so that's how we'll handle that logistically. We still will need all hands on deck, be it to just make sure that kids are in line and not getting lost by or falling by the wayside or whatever kids do when you're moving them from place to place. Also, it would be great if some people could stay up here with kids because they will be in the zone. They will be hanging out. So the ones that are not, that don't make the cut to come downstairs. And when I say cut, I mean specifically time cut. Okay. Um, and then two, also, it'd be great to have small group leaders with them in the auditorium. Now they will be seated in the front of section E. Okay. And then the Quest kids will be in the front of section A. What else do I need to tell you? This week, Kevin Foster is going to be doing a talk for us. We still will be getting a talk. So how things will happen is basically everything that goes on from the beginning of worship at on the 16-minute mark till right about offering will bring us up here and elevate to the point where we would be normally doing our talk anyway. So what's going to wind up happening is we're going to bring everybody back upstairs. I myself personally am responsible for wrangling together the kids who are in the parking lot and who are doing guest services, and then I will be bringing those kids back up. Now, some of them, the parking lot kids, will be possibly some of our Elevate students, and then some Request kids might be in the kids who are doing guest services. But at the end of the day, I'll bring those kids upstairs. At that point, whether I'm upstairs or not, you guys will have the go-ahead to go on with the service. Kevin Foster's doing the talk, so we'll come in and maybe just do some little, I don't know, a little teaser, just a little smidget of talking for maybe like 2 minutes or so. Kevin's going to go right into the talk. We'll do the ABCs of salvation, which we're going to do every week. We'll probably pray and just kind of talk about how things went this particular week for a kid takeover, a kid highlight. And then we're going to go into our small groups. And like I said, you'll get more about the small group rotation. This week's bottom line is share what you learned in the Bible with someone. That's the bottom line. Because what good is it to gain something impactful or to hear something from the voice of God and not be willing to share it with your friends or your family or your loved ones or your enemies or the guy that's serving you ice cream at your local Cold Stone? Whatever the case may be, let's share the good news of Jesus Christ. And that's really ultimately what we're talking to them about. The scripture's coming from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 through 9. That's Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 through 9. So we'll be sending you all the information that you need. Kid highlight again is this weekend. Child dedication or infant dedication is this weekend. There is a volunteer push this weekend too. Please, and let me say this, and this goes anytime. If you know people who might be interested, feel free. Put a bug in their ear. I'm not saying push them or beg them, but, ask them, hey, you like kids? Do you have sense? Maybe you have to, gauge that part yourself. But at the end of the day, ask them, hey, would you be interested in coming in and spending some time with the kids that we are blessed to be able to work with every week? I don't take this for granted. It's a blessing to be able to do this as a job and to love it, and so I appreciate it. I thank God for the blessing, and I hope that you all take it just as serious as well, and I'm sure you do. And so I just always want to thank you guys for your time and your willingness to show up and be consistent and be faithful. And so, like I said, thank you for your willingness to kind of go along with some of the new things and the changes, and there will be more that are coming up. And we definitely appreciate your feedback when things are not ideal and whatever may need to be shared. Lastly, let me say this. In the email I sent last week, I gave you a date, June 22nd, for a fellowship. We're going to change that date because that is a date of outdoor baptism. And so we don't want to do too much that day. So I'll be giving you a different date that we'll do a fellowship. And we're going to come together, get to know you guys, will get to know me. I'll get to know you. We get to welcome some new folks in. We get to say goodbye to some folks. And we'll eat some really good food. Keep in mind, Spring Hill's right around the corner. So let's not forget about that. And Discover Northridge is this weekend. I'm sure most of you have probably already discovered Northridge. I have not yet. But if you didn't know about it, that's coming this weekend too. And I think that is all that I have for you today. Tune in next week, and I'll see you guys later.